Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Regista Football Podcast. This is our Pub Diaries series where we review games that have happened in the previous game week. We've just witnessed a calamity at Anfield where Liverpool drew 0-0 with Leeds. And we're going to go over Arsenal's drubbing of Aston Villa. We're currently located in Shakespeare's pub in San Diego, which is as you would expect, a British pub, serve a bunch of traditional English beer. I'm joined by my co-host Ben. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fantastic. How are you, Jack?
I'm could be better. I'll be honest, but I'm happy I'm here chatting about football. Happy I'm here drinking some beers with you, my friend.
Absolutely. Football and beers. That's what it's about.
I completely agree. So we're going to cover the better of the two games first. We're going to cover Arsenal versus Aston Villa. Arsenal beat Aston Villa 4-1 on the day. Actually, unexpected, I think, from both of us, especially if you listen to the previous episode. I thought it would be way tighter than it was. And quite frankly, at the death, it wasn't tight at all. I'd say from my perspective, it was a game of two halves. Villa, in the first half, they had decent impetus on the counter. Arsenal were creating a few chances in the first half, specifically to Gyökeres, who I think could have done better with a couple of situations. They didn't do a lot aside from that. They were struggling getting Saka into the game. I think was being basically doubled up on the whole of that first half. Didn't get a bunch of space, couldn't do too much. And I think in that half, Villa missed some chances. I think for them to get anything from the game, they have to take advantage of the play they had in that first half, and they didn't. Do you think of a similar way for me, or do you completely disagree with what I just said?
No, I agree. It was definitely a game of two halves. Had some decent chances, but actually got zero shots in the first half, which was kind of wild. There were a couple of misses there, both by Ollie Watkins. He did what we assumed he was going to do by dragging the players wide and then either taking the shot or giving space for Rodgers. Gyökeres's first header early on should have been on target. Gyökeres's second header in the 35th should have been on target. And additionally, his hold-up play and his positioning just wasn't fantastic. I also remember he dropped into the midfield to pick up a ball, but he was kind of sleeping on it. He got picked up by a Villa defender who put it out to, I want to say it was Rodgers, who had a shot, not on target, but still, it was subpar play in the first half overall from Arsenal. And then there was this period between the 10th minute and about the 17th, 18th minute when Arsenal just gave up a lot of space. They let Onana get up on the ball twice in the 10th minute. Then once again at the
big runs through midfield, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was he actually did quite well in that game for doing that for me. And I don't think he's typically that type of guy. I think he's more of a destroyer, breakup type of guy.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think you let their midfield get a ton of space early on, especially to where they could play it through the lines to have their attacking players almost one-on-one your back line. But Arsenal come through that ultimately in that half. I think Watkins misses is a pretty big chance.
Oh, yeah.
And that happens somewhat consistently throughout the first half. I think they get some decent chances on the break. And Arsenal, I think they defend it well ultimately. I think Saliba gets a crazy interception on one of them as well. But they go in 0-0 at halftime, and I think that's exactly what Arsenal would have wanted after that first half. I wouldn't say it was at least from my perspective, I don't know if you disagree with me, but I think Arsenal controlled the ball pretty well.
Yeah, I think they controlled the ball pretty well. Villa was very compact throughout the entire first half, keeping the game really focused in on the edges of the field. And Arsenal saw that, and they just played on the left side so much, is what I noticed. Usually,
Trossard had so much of the ball.
Yeah.
But it was because, like I said, Saka was being doubled up on constantly.
Yeah.
I think, people don't understand the problem Trossard is when teams let him face up players one-on-one. I think he's super underrated in that way, to where he is so good in tight spaces. He finds space. He can put balls across the box. He can also shoot. We saw that in the second half as well.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately it was a lot of them actively playing the ball into dangerous situations. But Villa very, very compact. I remember sending you a message in that first half, Villa, there are no space between the lines, almost nothing. The defense and their midfield that they're probably a couple of meters in between one player from the next. And you can see Odegaard trying to drop into those pockets and not being quite as successful as he wanted to.
Yeah.
Ultimately, because there was no space to play in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another reason they were leaning a little bit more towards the left is Odegaard was playing a lot more central role than he typically does. He does lean towards that right side. I think I'm glad that they recognize that he would be more efficient in that central role rather than, hugging that right side overall.
I would say, like, from my perspective, I think, and like we spoke about this the previous episode, I think the way Gyökeres is currently being used, it's not conducive to his skill set.
Yep.
You want him essentially to play like a penalty box striker, but I still don't think he's a penalty box striker. He's not that type of guy.
No.
When, I don't know, surely there was some consideration of this in the summer when you guys bought him. Surely.
Yeah, I mean, I think when we first bought him, like what we were excited about as Arsenal supporters was we have this person who can run behind and who can put the ball in the net.
Different profile.
Completely different profile from Havertz. He's not a ball-holding kind of forward like Gabriel Jesus. Completely different profile. Are we playing to his strengths? No, we're not. And I think we talked about this in our previous pod where we say we need to leave him up top and maybe drop Trossard and Saka a little further back and maybe utilize that space for him to run into. And that's kind of what happened in the second half. They dropped Trossard back a little bit. We actually had two up front where Gyökeres was a little bit more advanced and Saka playing a little deeper back. So I did appreciate that there was a change in formation. I don't have much else to say about the first half. Would love to move on to the second half if you want to.
So can I add something? I think you could see in that first half how much you missed Declan Rice, both on the ball and off the ball. I think who played in his stead?
We had Zubimendi and Marino in the midfield.
Mourinho is not the same type of ball carrier. You could see like a bunch of times in midfield where Villa would ultimately give you space, and that would be like Declan Rice playing next to Zubimendi, picking the ball up and driving into the third phase. Yeah. And you didn't see a lot of that in the first half. I think that was what was missing ultimately.
It's funny, the kinds of runs that Onana had, I actually was like, if we had Declan in this and we had that much space, that's the kind of run that Declan would be making. Very similar in just picking up the ball, progressing it through those thirds, and then, passing it to the right person or playing it. But yeah, I was very nervous when I saw Declan was not on the team sheet. Luckily, we were able to step up.
He wasn't benched either, was he? He's injured.
No, he was injured. Yeah, he picked up a knee injury.
I think like the main things in this game are Rice obviously didn't start. Timber comes back in, and then Hincapié starts at left back again for an absent Calafiori, right?
Yep.
So like you have most of your recognized back four, really aside from Calafiori, and then you've got Rice. Then you've got Rice not playing. And from there, really, you can see what they do for the overall 11 of Arsenal. Second half, however, is a completely different game. I think Martinez, the mistake off that corner is calamitous. I don't think he's under a bunch of pressure. And ultimately, it comes down to him letting the ball basically go through his arms. Here's the issue. We've seen like the corner focus or the corner leaning, or at least the set piece leaning style from Arsenal for a couple of years now. I still think the way teams defend those situations is bad. I think the best set-piece defenders in the league on a consistent basis is Chelsea. They don't concede a bunch of set pieces, at least from what I remember. But ultimately, their strategy is have fewer guys in the box, so defenders, more physical players can attack the ball in zone 1 and zone 2.
Yeah.
Which is where Arsenal play the ball almost every time. And you can see, really, as corners were coming up for Arsenal, that they were getting chances just solely based on them being put in dangerous areas.
Yeah, Jack, real quick, for the listener who may not know what Zone 1 and Zone 2 are, could you explain that a little bit for us?
Sure. So the way I want you guys to think about it, if you think about the goal mouth, and you think of the area around the goal. So if you split the goal into half, one side is zone 1 and one side is zone 2, depending on strong or weak side. So if a corner is being taken from one side, the closest to the corner taker will be zone 1, and then the other zone will be zone 2. And zone 2 is typically back post when zone 1 is front.
Thanks. I feel like that was definitely an error. It was a precise hit from Saka. We knew he was going to take it. Everyone knows he's going to get it to Gabriel. And I do feel like it was more of a error from Martinez than a great goal from Gabriel. He didn't even touch it with his head. It rolls off of his body.
I think it's delivery, though, for me, man. Consistently with Arsenal, it comes down to consistent set-piece delivery. And that was a message I sent you. Like,
yeah,
it doesn't matter what's happening. They're going to put it in that same spot, and they're going to make it really tough. That's why I come back to how Chelsea defend those situations.
Yeah.
There are fewer guys in the box, so people have like a running start, but they also have space to defend the ball. I think the way Arsenal want to deal with those set pieces is essentially they cluster zone 1 and zone 2. They make the goalkeeper really uncomfortable by doing that.
Yeah.
And you can see Martinez, the whole of the game, it wasn't just that goal.
Yeah.
It's really uncomfortable in those situations.
Yeah. And once that goal goes in, real quick, Arsenal did not have one corner in the first half. That was their first corner of the game
that
they scored on. Yeah.
I didn't
corners.
think about that. That's actually crazy.
0 corners. First corner they have, they score on. It's a tactic that you see over and over. And I don't know if Arteta has said it explicitly, but it is a tactic that they rely on, opening the game up after a set-piece goal so that they can do other goals. And so, yeah, set-piece again, ole. But right after that, game completely opens up. Gyökeres drifts over to the left. Saka slots in that second forward position. And Trossard is able to drop into those midfield responsibilities. And he gets on top of the box more often. He gets more central. And then once again, he gets a great little touch for the third.
I think Trossard is criminally underrated. I think what he does for Arsenal consistently, especially at the top of the box, where he receives the ball, he can face guys up, he can beat them both ways. Trossard opens stuff up for Arsenal in a way that I don't think people give him credit for. Going back to what you just said, in the first half, you guys generate 0.446 XG when Villa have 0.54 XG. I think that's a bit of a downplay of Villa, actually, because like Villa creates some really dangerous moments in that first half, but Arsenal hold on and they make it work. Going into that second half, and you guys obviously score the corner, I think like from there, once you guys score, at least for me, it's utter domination.
Yeah, once we get that first goal, we have that confidence, and we talked about this, right? There's a confidence that happens once you get that first goal, and we just keep going for it. We play more centrally. We're not forced into the outside. We are winning duels. Odegaard wins his duel out in the middle of the pitch, drives the ball up. Zubimendi has a perfect run. Odegaard drops his shoulder, but then passes it through. Tielemans is just caught. He does not know if he needs to go for ball or man, and it's perfectly placed in Zubimendi's path, and it's just a little dink into the corner.
I said in the chat, it reminds me of a FIFA goal.
Absolutely.
L1 and X to Odegaard, and Zubimendi keeps on running.
That little weighted through pass.
Yeah, he might be the only guy on the pitch that plays that pass too. For me, once it goes 2-0, it's like genuinely finished. I think, I don't know, Arsenal deserves some criticism in previous games for how they don't put games to bed. They put that fucking game to bed. They go 2-0 up, and I think from 2-0 up, I don't feel nervous. I mean, I'm never going to feel nervous about Arsenal, but like I didn't look at them in a situation where I felt they were too vulnerable from that period.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, and then immediately they continue working, and I think what I noticed during that period is after they went 2-0, they didn't stop. They were suffocating every single pass. In their own half, it was a 2-on-1 situation. But if they were in Villa's half, they were more risky. They would do a 3-on-1. They'd say like, yeah, let's win the ball back in their own half as quickly as we can. Let's turn the ball over. And that really helped out. Like that risk versus reward really paid out overall.
I think Jesus looked really good when he came on. And you can see the difference in forward profile, right?
Yeah.
Like there's a type of guy that can receive the ball to feet.
I'm sorry, before we go into Jesus, I want to talk about Trossard's finish, if we can.
Yeah. I remember, so like when Arsenal start winning, I get a little bit annoyed.
Yeah.
But there is no denying how crazy that finish is. And the reason is he comes onto that ball, like side on. He has no right to hit that as accurately into where he hits it as he does. And he is probably the only guy on the pitch for Arsenal that does that.
Absolutely.
Like, no look, essentially coming on sideways to the ball and hits it in basically the bottom right. Great finish.
Yeah.
We know he's two-footed. We know he's a clinical finisher. You know what it reminds me of? Did you see that goal that United scored against, who did they play at home before Wolves?
Let's check it
Doesn't
out.
matter. Patrick Dorgu scores a goal.
Okay.
Comes sideways on it, basically.
Yeah.
Newcastle. Against Newcastle, great finish. Doesn't look at it. Very similar finish. And like, as soon as it goes 3-0, I'm thinking this could be a problem for Villa.
Yeah. It's funny. I was watching the game at the Bluefoot with my buddy Danny, and when we went 2-0, we're like, you know what, 4-0 would be nice. And then we went 3-0, we're like, you know what, 6-0 would be nice. And it was this feeling of we had total dominance.
Yeah.
We just felt comfortable the entire time as we went through it. Trossard's finish was beautiful. I think a part of it was Timber doing a little body feint to look like he was going for the ball.
Yeah.
Martinez didn't know who was taking the shot.
See,
then Tielemans was in the middle, and he didn't. I know you disagree with this.
I disagree with you. I think Timber fucking fumbles the ball, and you have the best finisher in your team coming on the end of it.
Yeah.
Who knows where he's putting it? He knows where he's putting it when he runs onto the ball.
Yeah.
Timber. So like I'm not going to go into it, but like what is considered an assist in the Premier League in modern day is a joke. But like he runs onto it, and it's just a near-on perfect finish by Trossard. And that makes it 3-0. At 2-0, the game was finished. At 3-0, it's definitely finished.
Yeah.
Arsenal scored a fourth from sub Gabriel Jesus.
Yeah.
I feel this guy deserves some credit here.
Absolutely.
Because
yeah.
he consistently, and sorry guys, I would be just as happy about Man City drawing 0-0, almost halftime, as the next guy. But we're also watching that game as well, at least on the side. But Gabriel Jesus gets injured consistently. He comes back and he makes an impact wherever he comes back. He's not the type of guy that needs a bunch of like ramp up to make it work for him.
He's ready to go. He steps on the pitch, he's ready to go.
Yeah, and he made it count.
Yeah,
ultimately.
He was on the pitch for 56 seconds, and he had a goal with his second touch. 56 seconds. He was subbed on. Seconds later, he had 2 touches and scores.
So I just ordered another beer. Cheers, Ben.
Cheers.
Called this a pale ale. Somewhat questionable.
I wish we had a picture of this because this is not a pale ale.
Just imagine something that's dark red. Viewership, dark red. Goes 4-0. I'm thinking, please don't sub Timber because I need him to not get a clean sheet. For fantasy purposes, they sub Timber. Timber comes off. And then Villa score in basically what is injury time. Watkins gets a goal in injury time, and the game ends 4-1. What's your ultimate take from that game?
I think it makes me happy. A few weeks ago, we had Arsenal and Chelsea, and everyone was saying Chelsea's going to be threatening, and Arsenal drew it away. You know what? And then right after that, we lost to Villa, and that was kind of disappointing. We needed to win this for multiple reasons, and I'm not going to get into the bitter anti-Unai Emery thing. Everyone else does that. I am more into showing off who we are, what we can do, and that's what Arsenal did. They were able to say, we can adapt to this game. We have the depth. We have the skill to do it, and they did it. And they did it in a way to show that if title contenders are out here, they can do what they want to do. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Cheers, love.
What game are you watching?
We're watching City Sunderland. We're recording a podcast. No,
not at all.
I actually like you. It's good. Thank you very much. So yeah, I think the game overall is tale of two halves. City play, City. We're watching City. Arsenal play questionably in the first half. They don't create a lot. When they start to create, Villa can't deal with them, and they end up winning 4-1. My ultimate take from that game is I think we've seen this season, Arsenal deal with situations that they wouldn't have previously dealt with specifically well. Newcastle away, this specific game, and they get through it. I think that's conducive to a league title, but we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
And do you think I'm wrong in that?
No, not at all. I think it was definitely a tale of two halves. If you just look at the first half, Arsenal did not deserve to win the game.
No.
It deserved to be a draw. If you look at both halves together, you see the Arsenal figured out what they needed to do, how they needed to open up the game. They opened it up. They won it. And they won it convincingly.
I agree. In the end, there's no doubt about it being convincing or not. Next game is Bournemouth away. Okay, that's interesting.
Yep.
we're going to cover Liverpool Leeds. I don't have too much to say about this because the game was fucking bad. First thing, Leeds didn't start Calvert-Lewin. I think a lot of that comes from their game plan being 0-0 on 60. They can bring a guy on they can play relatively direct to. Doesn't quite go that way of the game, and we'll get into that for sure. But I think Liverpool ultimately control the first half. They have some decent chances in the first half where the first big chance is Verts, which basically gets blocked. Really good defending, and I would say that consistently throughout that game is I think Leeds defend pretty well most of that game.
Yeah, I think Leeds' game plan was to defend even if it was a 1-0 to
they'd
Liverpool.
Be happy with it.
They'd be happy with it. They defend it, and they would try to hurt them in the second half off a set piece, off of a deep ball in, and that's what they were doing. They were relying on Dominic either getting a set piece or someone else getting a set piece. Mencho was the starter, which I thought was quite surprising as well. But it made sense as a long gameplay. Like they were also playing two halves.
But for me, that shows confidence coming into Anfield. They knew they could keep it tight until later in the game, and they did. We'll go over the first half for a sec. Honestly, for this game, there's not a bunch to go over. It's kind of uneventful. Ekitike has a crazy good chance. I think that's in the first half, where he essentially heads the ball sideways and he could head it towards the goal. It's like a 0.7 chance, 0.7 XG chance that he doesn't take advantage of. And in these types of games, guys, Liverpool have to do this. We're not the same team as we were last year or the year before, to where we create chance after chance after chance after chance. We're not doing that. Anything we get, we need to take advantage of, and ultimately Liverpool down.
Yeah, that chance was quite disappointing to watch. Not only because I have Frimpong on my fantasy team, but also because the ball was driven directly to Ekitike. He didn't have to head it. He just needed to rotate his body and make an angle to let the ball bounce off of him into the goal. The keeper was beat.
The way I look at it, it's have your shoulders face where you want to put it. And he didn't. He was his shoulders were facing towards the corner flag, and ultimately that's where it went. That's a lot of what happens in the first half. I think Liverpool control the ball really well in the first half. They're not under a bunch of pressure in that first half, but ultimately, if you don't score the goal that matters, you continually look like fucking idiots when you go into the 60th, 70th minute and still no. Liverpool in the second half, I see a pretty big uptick of tempo. They start to play quite quickly in the second half, especially at the start of the second half. I'd say 45 to 60, they play faster and start to create some chances. But ultimately, it's more of the same. Leeds defending in a 5-4-1, stopping Liverpool, playing the ball. And something you said during the game, which was really apparent to me, was Leeds essentially play that 5-back to stop Liverpool playing in half spaces. The whole of that game, Szoboszlai wants to pick it up in the half space. Verts wants to pick it up in the half space. They're not let to turn and face goal in the half spaces in that second half, especially in the first half. It doesn't happen. They struggled to create anything really of note aside from the Ekitike chance for the whole of the game.
Yeah, I feel like they had plenty of opportunities. Watching the game, you were telling them to shoot.
Just shoot.
Just shoot the ball. Let's take a shot. Don't take the extra touch. Just try it. And I think even though they had 19 total shots, they could have at least tried to take a few more.
Just feel that stat's a load of bollocks. It's 19 shots, but it's come on. It's 19 shots with a woman if I don't speak to her.
Yeah.
These shots don't exist, guys. It's a joke. They don't create really anything of note in that second half. At least from what I remember. I can't remember being off my seat once in the second half saying you should convert that chance. And that's where, ultimately, I think that's where Liverpool are.
What did you think about putting in Bradley and Frimpong? Frimpong as a winger, Bradley as that right back.
What choice do we have? We don't have a guy to play on that right side. And something I would say too is we've gone away from that super central build-up type of game where we've reverted back to the older system where they were playing much more centrally maybe 2 games ago. I think in our previous game against Wolves, we saw some of that transition away from what we were doing, playing that pentagon shape. And they do it in this game with Frimpong up high and then Bradley at right back. But it just doesn't go well for me. I don't like the shape. I don't like how they're currently creating chances. And ultimately, they get what they deserve, at least for me. Don't get me wrong. that Ekitike chance has to be on target.
Yeah.
It has to be on target. It's a good opportunity. He doesn't convert it. It is what it is. Outside of that, Liverpool don't have a great chance the whole of the game. And that's really the way it is. The game ends 0-0. I think from my perspective as a Liverpool fan, I've not seen us draw 0-0 the whole of the season. I've not seen us like...
There was a stat that someone said, or that the commentator said at the end of the game, that said Liverpool hasn't had a 0-0 draw for 190 something matches.
We score. That's what we do. That's our identity. We're attacking. And I'll be honest, guys, I'm fucking sick of watching boring football. It's boring. Nothing happens. We play a bunch in midfield. Not the type of football I want to watch, especially Liverpool playing at home. I don't want to see that type of football. But the game ultimately ends in 0-0. And I think Leeds are worth that. I think Leeds defend really well. But ultimately, it's not good enough from a Liverpool perspective throughout the whole of the game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. The last time Liverpool had a 0-0 draw was December 2023 against United.
And we know how those fucking games go. United camping back.
Yeah.
Liverpool trying to
2023, that's Ten Hag United.
Yeah, it is.
Is that Ten Hag United? Yeah, that's Ten Hag United. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that game too. Fucking shocker. We went into that game as like pure favorites, and really like this game, nothing comes of it. But it is what it is. Like if you remember, like, if anyone as a Liverpool fan is watching, for us to draw 0-0 this season is absolutely unheard of. I am not condoning 0-0. 0-0 shouldn't happen at Anfield. It should never happen at Anfield. We need to hold these guys accountable. Like we need some players, man.
Yeah.
If from my perspective, if I watch the whole of that game, and we're gonna get into it in a minute, but like we need players that can beat guys one-on-one.
Yeah.
Right now, it's like a bunch of slow guys passing it backwards and sideways. I don't want to see that type of football at Anfield, at least for me. Game ends 0-0. Is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the next bit.
Yeah. I mean, you touched on it briefly. Do you want to talk about transfer window needs? Yeah.
So what we're going to go over now, guys, is we're going to go over what each team needs for the transfer window. Let's start with Arsenal, because I think they need less.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about the current squad dynamic. How you currently feel about the squad.
It's funny. We have a lot in the midfield. We have decent depth in the striker position, especially once we have people coming back from injuries.
Yeah.
We have Gabriel Jesus back. Havertz is very close. He was on the bench. So we do have that rotation in different types of players that we could pull in. What I can say is that could we use another left wing? Possibly, but it has to be the right left wing. And who's available in January? Really, no one. Right wing is.
Don't tell me that, Ben. Fucking hell.
We're pretty flush on that right wing as well. We have Saka. Madueke can step in. If we really need it, Ethan can jump in as well. So we are okay on that right wing as well. And Jack, you make fun of me all the time for this. You make fun of Arsenal all the time for this. But we need we need a defender. Like we need defensive fitness is concerning. Like we need a loan, like a short-term contract, something. Maybe it's luck. Maybe it's just poor luck that we had our best center back out, that we had our backup center back out, and it could be that. But I think that's the only place I can see us strengthening right now, and that's really someone maybe who has a bit more experience in the Prem, and really, like, I want, if anything, someone who has played in the Prem and is kind of out with their team right now. So that's an Adam Webster from Brighton. Potentially. That is a Julian Arroyo from Bournemouth, potentially. But, like, I don't want to spend a lot of money on someone like that. Maybe something that's pre-contract is what I want to focus on. But you know what we really need to upgrade this week? Physios. We need to upgrade physios in this transfer window.
That's hilarious to me. Because, like...
we need support staff.
Let's actually be honest. Like, the amount of injuries you guys consistently deal with...
Yeah.
Is kind of nuts. Odegaard hasn't been available for most of the season.
Yeah.
Saka's had his injury spells out. But I think your squad is the most complete in the Premier League.
I agree with that. Yeah, I think, we can say we had bad luck with injuries. Maybe we need something better, a better luck with injuries. But yeah, it's really hard to say what we really need. We have a very full squad. Yeah. We spent money. We bought the right people.
Big things, you don't sell players.
We don't.
You retain the guys you have.
Yeah.
So every time you go into a transfer window, you typically improve on the squad. And I think that's the main thing. Like, that's really in this summer. People look at Liverpool's transfer spending. We've let some really notable guys go.
Darwin go. You let Luis go. Yeah.
So I think Arsenal.
Some guy named Arnold or whatever. Arnold something.
Yeah, I don't remember who he is. The guy you're talking about, I can't remember who he is. Corner taking quickly, that type of shit.
Yeah, who takes a corner quickly? That's bullshit.
Arsenal don't need to do a lot in the transfer window.
No.
And I think it comes down to how you guys have approached the transfer window really for 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Consistently added where you could, followed a plan where you signed specific profiles that your team need, and that's why their squad looks so complete at this stage, at least for me.
I think it'd be fun to steal someone again. It'd just be fun. I know that Semenyo is linked very closely with City, but if we can steal him, even if we don't...
We'll get into that in a minute.
Even if we don't use him as often, it'd be fun. What do you think Liverpool needs?
Okay, let's talk about Liverpool's situation at the moment. So Liverpool right now, as of recording, have 8 homegrown players. By the way, you can have as many homegrown players as you want, but we have the cap of 17 non-homegrown players, which is the cap. So if we want anyone that's not homegrown, Liverpool need to get rid of people that aren't homegrown. So who are they? Let's think of how the squad is made up. So you think of Endo fucking off. Potentially.
I forgot about Endo.
Andy Robertson will stay. I don't see him going. We don't have a bunch of Chiesa potentially moving on. Chiesa's heavily linked with Juventus again, so that could happen. Ultimately, I understand why we've been attached to the players we've been attached with, because they're looking at homegrown players. At least from my perspective, what Liverpool really, really need is Liverpool need a 1v1 winger, the type of guy who can stand someone up and beat them on the outside. Phipps can do that. We saw that in this game. He'll get past people, but he's just not explosive and quick. We don't have a profile like that, so Liverpool needs something like that. Similar profile to someone like Nico Williams for me.
Okay.
The guy I really like in Europe is Bradley Barcola. Isn't really being fancied by PSG, but ultimately, for Liverpool to sign Barcola in January, I don't see that happening. Which is what made Antoine Semenyo make so much sense. Has a 65 million release clause that goes out of favor on 10th of January. City look closer to signing him than we do. So that is what it is. So I think that's a good decision from his perspective. Not really. I think he's not guaranteed a starting place at City. Because of our winger situation, I think he starts for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Oh, there is that. So 1v1 winger.
I don't want to think about Semenyo and Isak as a front 627. That scares me.
By the way, guys, he's going to have to deal with Wirtz, Ekitike, and Isak after a full preseason. We'll see how that goes. But we need wide depth. That's what we need. We don't have any right now. Really, our only starting wingers are Salah. Obviously, we know what Salah is. Still producing, but at the tail end of his career. He lacks pace. He can't beat people one-on-one anymore. Gakpo never beats people one-on-one. He just cuts inside and does what he does.
No way, he cuts inside. I'd never noticed that in his game.
I mean,
did he get to the edge of the 18 and then cuts inside? Is that what he does?
He gets to the byline and cuts inside, and then does absolutely nothing most of the time from that. So we see that consistently. We need winger depth, and Semenyo would have been perfect if he chooses City. Right now, I can't blame him. So I think Liverpool are a bit further away than City are, but we need that type of profile, 1v1, progressive carries, successful take-ons, shot-creating actions. Those are the stats. If you guys want to do that, filter on StatHead or FBref, 1v1 take-ons, successful progressive carries and shot-creating actions, that's the profile of winger Liverpool need. The other profile we need is a ball-playing centre-back. As of right now, if Ibu or Van Dijk goes down, centre-back option immediately becomes Ryan Gravenberch.
Yeah.
And that is a pure problem. We cannot have that as a team. I've seen us linked to Nico Schlotterbeck, who I would love to see at Liverpool. The problem with Nico is they have to move a non-homegrown player on to make that happen. Do we do that in this window? I'm not so sure. Guéhi, I know, is heavily linked to Liverpool. And by the way, when we talk about Guéhi, we need to understand he had a contract agreement with Liverpool in January, in the summer.
Yeah.
I don't think Guéhi's the type of guy, by the way, to run away from that. I think he knew he had an agreement with Liverpool and he'll stick to it. So do we get him now or do we get him in the summer? I think Guéhi's a good signing for Liverpool. Yeah. I have my concerns about his play style. If you see how Liverpool are typically attacked teams don't play us along the ground. They play up high. Gehi's 6 foot in a back four. I don't love that. I really don't love that. But he is an elite ball-playing centre-back. He is. He's England's best centre-back.
Yeah, I would be surprised if Gehi doesn't go to Liverpool in the next year or so.
So I'd like to see him there, and that could happen. But for the rest of the season, we need some sort of reinforcements. And I think getting Gehi in early would be good for Liverpool. If not, I mean, overall, I prefer Nico Schlotterbeck because of the profile.
Yeah.
Guy's 6'5", formidable in the air, as good a ball player as Gehi. It's actually, like, in terms of profile, like a good replacement for Virgil when Virgil leaves. I personally think they should sign Virgil for another year or two.
I could see that, yeah. I feel like Virgil is the kind of center back and captain who will retire with Liverpool.
Yeah.
He will play as long as he can, and then when his career's done, he'll say, yeah, I'll play a couple of matches here and there, but I'm a Liverpool man. I'll end my career here. I don't see him going anywhere else because he loves the club.
Absolutely. So that's kind of where we are. So 1v1 winger, ball-playing centre-back. And I think there's also an attacking profile that we need, or even defensive midfield profile that we need. If you think about our midfield makeup right now, Gravenberch, it's not a 6. They play him as a 6, but he's not a 6.
Yeah.
McAllister, not a 6. Stone's not a 6. We need a 6. That's why last summer they tried to sign Zubimendi. They need that type of player. My pick for that player is Angelo Stiller.
Okay.
I think Angelo Stiller is the perfect type of profile for Liverpool. He is defensively good, but also progressive on the ball. He's 6 foot plus. I think he's 6'2". Ultimately, he's a ball player, and that's the type of profile we need there. If someone else that plays there at that time, we're playing essentially 4-2-3-1, so you need a guy a bit more progressive and aside of him. And I think Gravenberch and McAllister fit that bill. But ultimately, we need a guy who can, we can play that 2-3. We can have a guy that is the ultimate pivot. We don't have a guy right now that can do that. Gravenberch can do that, but I'm not always convinced about it. So that's what I'd like to see. I don't know if they make that signing this winter window. So I think they're kind of happy with their midfield numbers right now.
Yeah.
But I think overall, that's a profile that we need. What do you think of that? Do you agree?
Yeah. I feel like there are definitely some players that you need to replace because of age, specifically in the winger position, center back. I do agree you are very stacked in midfield. I was surprised that Kiseyas made it this long at Liverpool.
Too.
I thought he was going to have a transitionary period. Yeah.
I don't understand it. By the way, 10 million, best Liverpool song in the last 10 years, I think.
Yeah, good song, good song.
No.
We did it better.
You copy all of our songs. So,
it's okay, we do.
Chiesa might have the best Liverpool song in the last 10 years. It's up there, but not good enough for Liverpool ultimately. It's not fit enough to start games. If you're not fit enough to start games, from my perspective, you're not fit enough to play for Liverpool.
Yeah.
There are squad players, but I want the ability to rotate in the forward line. And we just don't have that ultimately. Gakpo pisses me off. Isak is cropped. We have Hugo Ekitike and Gakpo ultimately. And Salah when he comes back from AFCON. We don't know what type of Salah we're going to get back. So it is what it is. We need depth. After spending 450 M's, what are we talking about? You let pivotal members of the squad go. And for me, ultimately, it comes down to Diaz. If you let Diaz go, you have to fucking replace that guy.
You do.
And we didn't. So those are the profiles in midfield for me. Defense, front. Hopefully they do something this window. It'd be very Liverpool to not do something in this window.
Yeah.
But I hope they do. Next segment we're going to do today, guys, is best footballer, best match, and best goal.
Yes. I forgot about this. Let's do this.
Yeah, we are going to do this. So I'm going to let Ben go first. Okay, guys, for the next segment, we're going to do, it's end of year.
Yeah.
Everyone's celebrating.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's actually cheers on that. Hope you guys heard the big clunk. We're going to do best favorite footballer, non-Liverpool, non-Arsenal, obviously. Best goal and best match. Do you want to start with the best footballer? Or your favorite footballer?
My favorite footballer for 2025. It kind of is a cheat. I'll be honest with you when we say best non-Arsenal, best non.
It's going to be an ex-Arsenal footballer. Right?
Absolutely it is. You already know who it is. You know who it's going to be.
Granit Xhaka?
Of course.
Yeah. Grace.
The thing that I wanted to Like, when I think about my favorite footballer who's not Arsenal, is like, what match am I going to turn on to watch because I want to watch this player?
Fair enough.
And it's been Granit Xhaka for the last 2 years since he left. I loved watching that at Bayer Leverkusen. Like, I started watching German football because of Granit Xhaka.
We can like have a good conversation about how good he's been since he's left.
Exactly.
Like, goes invincible with that Bayer Leverkusen team.
Yep.
It's a really big player, like on the partnering Palacios, like in that season as well.
Yep.
I think you can see since he's come to the Premier League, the impact he can get when he faces the opponent's goal.
Yeah.
And like, what a redemption story.
It's a fantastic story. I used to hate this guy. And I was wrong. But this season at Sunderland, I will turn on a Sunderland game, and I say this because before him, my favorite non-Arsenal football player was Trossard. And Trossard somehow magically came to Arsenal, and I was very happy. Like, I would turn on Brighton games because I want to watch this guy play. And right now, luckily, it's Granit Xhaka. He's in the 91st percentile for passes attempted. He's 91st percentile of progressive passes. Clearances, 92nd. Aerials, 181st. Assists, 84th. And so we really focus on these defensive ball-playing midfielders who we also call Registas at this podcast.
Yeah. I mean, that's the aim of the podcast.
And that's what he is.
That's our favorite footballer.
I love watching him play. I love him as a person, and I really do enjoy play. I really enjoy him as a footballer. Who's your favorite?
My favorite footballer that doesn't play for Liverpool is kind of like a hipster's pick, I think, and it's Frankie de Jong.
Okay.
Who plays for Barcelona. I think Frankie de Jong, he's not big, he's 5'11". He is 2-footed. But like the way that guy plays football, we're a stats podcast ultimately. Like, we like stats, we like numbers. He transcends that. If you watch that guy play, he is the epitome of silky from that position, man. The way he takes the ball down, the way he beats people one-on-one. I'll even give you some stats about Frankie de Jong. His progressive passes are 96th percentile in Europe.
All right.
One of the best in Europe at that. His progressive carries, because he's such a good dribbler, is 90th percentile. And like when you watch him play, he beats people consistently from DM, essentially. I've seen Premier League clubs linked to Frankie de Jong for a long time, and I've always wished Liverpool just sign this guy because he is so good. I remember when he signed from Ajax to Barcelona, I was like somewhat heartbroken that he didn't come to my club because of how good this footballer actually is. I'll ask you, has he like lived up to his expectations? I think he was looked at as like potentially coming out of that Ajax team, like De Ligt, like that big Ajax team. Van der Beek. Did he live up to expectations?
I think he has not lived up to expectations because he's at Barcelona, and this is what happens when you go to these large La Liga clubs, right? There are so many great footballers at these clubs that you sometimes get lost in the mix. I was just looking, Frankie, and he's at a 99 percentile pass completion.
Still.
Incredible footballer.
But like, I'll say this too. This year, Curtis Jones is the best in the Premier League at pure pass completion. He's 98th percentile. It's like we're looking at a similar profile, essentially. But for me, Frankie de Jong, he's 28. He is just, for me, he's one of my favorite deep-lying midfielders to watch in Europe.
I remember watching Frankie de Jong, and when we first signed Martin Odegaard, I was like, I don't want Martin Odegaard, I want Frankie de Jong. It was my thought. And I've loved to grow. I've learned to, like, I love Martin Odegaard, but I would love Frankie de Jong still.
See, I was gonna my first footballer. I'm not even gonna say this to glaze you. My first footballer to pick was Odegaard.
Yeah.
But like, I can't pick an Arsenal player here. How good Odegaard is on the ball would have made me pick him. Frankie de Jong is very similar on the ball.
Yeah.
Just they look so technically proficient.
Yeah.
You know, and that really is what Frankie de Jong's game is. The thing that impressed me about de Jong is he's good at everything. He's not just a regista. The dude can score from range.
Yeah.
He is like the type of profile that I would love Liverpool to sign. Yeah. So that's my favorite footballer.
I got Granit Xhaka.
Granit Xhaka, fair enough. I've got Frankie de Jong. What's your favorite goal of the year?
My non-Liverpool, non-Arsenal favorite goal of the year was actually not in Europe.
So what was the goal?
It was Pellegrino's second goal during our match, during SDFC versus Timbers
Way.
in the first knockout of the playoffs. Do you remember that? Do you remember that goal?
No.
Okay. His second
was
goal
that?
against the Timbers.
Okay.
52nd minute. His first goal was a header. He hits it right into the keeper. Then he puts it into the top of the net.
So I'm going to watch that, guys. So Pellegrino, SDFC on the counter.
It's on the 52nd minute if you want to forward up to that.
Okay, so that's some different goal.
Yeah.
Let's try this. So Pellegrino scored some really important goals.
Yes, this is the one. That's the one.
Next season for sure is how much joy the SDFC has brought us here at San Diego. And Pellegrino was like a player that really came into the squad at the end of the season, ultimately, and started like converting for us in like late regular season and in the playoffs. He scored some really important goals. I would love to see that goal. Give me a minute. I'm going to view it and we'll come back. So it's funny because I was in the ground for that goal, but I drink a lot of beer if you guys haven't noticed. I'm probably on like beer 5 or 6. I can't remember. It might be 5, it might be 6, but we don't know. I just saw that goal back and I was in the ground for that goal and it was like pure freedom. Volley, top bins, what really? Top of the net, like top roof of the net.
Yeah.
Crazy finish. We were nervous and early on in that game, ultimately because we didn't know what to expect from SDFC from the playoffs, and they end up scoring that goal. I'm really fucking happy you picked an SDFC goal.
It was so
that makes me happy.
I didn't go to this game because I was like, I'm not gonna go to a playoff game. But I remember watching this from my. Actually, I didn't get to go to this game because I was at a party. I was at a birthday party, and I remember watching this on my phone. And I was like, I wish I was there for this game. Because I just remember just watching him drift out, then come back, and a volley into the top of the net for a brace.
So it
was just. Oh God!
I would define his profile as like a central striker, but that goal, he was left side, gets the ball played into him and volleys top, basically roof of the net. Crazy goal.
Yeah,
I could see why you would pick that. It makes me really happy, actually. I'm going to pick something not as good, or at least not impactful for us.
Okay.
And I think the best goal scored this year was Luis Diaz for Bayern.
Okay.
Do you remember that goal where he picked up the ball on the byline and he gets past a guy after the ball almost going over after the byline?
Oh,
he
yeah.
And like he has no angle to score, Diaz.
Yes.
And he puts it top bins.
That was a wild goal.
That made me fucking miss that guy. I'm telling you. That fucking goal was crazy to me. For him to score that goal, like, guy pressuring him, basically goes out of bounds to hit it past him.
Yeah.
And then to finish, I'd love to see the XG of that chance. I should have looked at that previously.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like super high XG, that chance. Absolutely insane finish. And it made me miss everything from that guy.
Yeah. That's a good goal.
Yeah.
Luis Diaz, I think, has had some fantastic goals for Bayern.
But he's been so good this year.
Yeah.
And it annoys me that he's been that good, but he has.
Yeah.
Favorite match? What's yours?
My favorite match, actually, it was it's an SDFC match.
I love it.
It's SDFC versus Minnesota United FC. It was the semifinals for the Western Conference. We were both at that match. I wasn't sitting with you, but I was there with my dad. And that's why it's my favorite match, the non-Arsenal match, just because I don't get to do a lot with my dad. I don't get to watch a lot of sport.
What's like the football relationship with you and your dad?
My dad.
United fan. He didn't let
my dad. Yeah, my dad's a United fan.
He didn't give me any of that, guys. He was asking me a bunch of questions about Liverpool, and you told me beforehand he was a United fan.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have admitted that to me.
He wouldn't.
But like a passionate football fan.
Yeah.
Came to a bunch of the games when he was around.
Yeah.
And that's a bunch of fun.
My dad was my first introduction to football. He used to play. He grew up in India. He played field hockey more than he played football. But in college, he played football for the college team, and he really liked it. But he actually coached my football team when I was a kid.
Really?
And my dad had a job where he couldn't do a lot of social stuff, but he always made it a point to coach my football team while I was playing. He would help me with my right foot, left foot drills. I didn't give a shit about my left foot, but he would be like, play with your left foot, play with your left foot. Like he would stay, we would get in early, we'd do drills, we'd stay late and we'd do drills together. and he just wanted me to play football because he knew that I'd enjoy it. And he's probably the first reason why I started playing football.
I love that story because I met Ben's dad very recently, and Ben's dad was very up for watching all of the football games that we went to. Just genuinely positive experience. United fan, didn't let on, by the way, that I was a United fan for me. Until I called him out at the end. He's like, yeah, I support Man United. Very funny. Love that match. My match is less creative. It's the Super Copa between Barcelona and Real Madrid.
Yeah.
Beat Real Madrid 5-2. Mbappe scores this crazy goal to make it 1-0 to Madrid. And for me, at that stage, it's like, okay, Madrid are going to do what they're going to do. Whatever. Nah, the attacker Barca strangles them and makes it really uncomfortable. Rafinha scores a goal. Lamine Yamal scores a goal. To beat Madrid 5-2, that Madrid, crazy.
Chesney had a red card in that game.
He did. He actually did, which does make it better. So before the rude interruption, we were talking about the 5-2 Super Copa match between Real Madrid and Barcelona. Barcelona wins 5-2 on the day. The way Hansi Flick has his teams play football, I fucking love it. They end up winning 5-2 on the day. Mbappe scores a crazy goal, beats a bunch of Barcelona defenders, and then ultimately Barcelona run away with the result. Did you end up watching that game?
No, so that game I started watching because that was the same day as the FA Cup third round against United, where Arsenal drew 1-1 and
Who
lost.
scored for United in that game?
Bruno Fernandes scored for United. There was also a red card for United in the 60th. Arsenal could not finish that game. I actually remember I was so upset. I left watching that game and also left Supercopa early because I was going to go play football with some friends. I made a good decision. The football I was playing with was with a United supporter, and he finished watching the penalties against Arsenal, and he was like, I had no idea we're going to win that game. And I was like, yeah, me neither. And then we moved on.
I mean, you should. United are draws.
Yeah, I was pretty upset, and so I did not watch the Supercopa. I do remember the result, though.
So, your player of the year? Granit Xhaka?
Yeah, Granit Xhaka.
My player of the year. I mean, at least my favorite player. I fucking love Frankie de Jong. They're not too
Oh, yeah,
far
yeah. I'm not
apart,
going to say player of the year. My favorite player this is the player I want to watch.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, any game he's playing, I want to watch it.
Fair enough. Goal of the year. Mine was that crazy Luis Diaz finish.
Yeah. Mine was Pellegrino's volley. Yes.
Let's go, dude. Pellegrino's volley, I remember that. And then match of the year, mine was 5-2 Barca Madrid in Supercopa. And yours is?
SJFC, Minnesota United FC.
So we're going to have a bunch of fun throughout the rest of the season. Hopefully Arsenal don't win the league, and they probably will.
Hopefully Arsenal do win the league. And if they do, that pod will be amazing.
Let's fucking do it. We'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace out.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.